And good evening, you're listening to Modern Mystic Radio on A1R Psychic Radio, the world's #1 psychic radio network. And of course, we're on Moonstruck TV as well. So my name's Sarah. I'm just going to introduce myself very quickly. I'm based in the UK. I'm a professional psychic, have been for the last 27 years. I appear regularly on Psychic TV, which is a UK TV station. Actually going to be appearing tomorrow night if you're watching. So that's channel 886, or you can watch online as well if you go onto the website psychictoday.co.uk. And I'm also got my own private practice and a spiritual development teacher as well. So just quickly, just going to tell you a little bit about how I work. So I work in a variety of different ways. I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm a clairvoyant. So I will get my guidance, my intuition from various forms. So from my spirit guides, also, from my own intuition as well. So I can tap into pretty much every aspect of life. And I'm also a law of attraction expert as well. So if there's something you've been struggling to manifest in your life, I can have a look at that for you. Also known as the soulmate psychic over in the UK. So I can look at your soul connections, your soulmate energy, your twin flame energy as well. And look at some of those really, really challenging aspects of soulmate relationships too. I'm also an Akashic record reader, so I can go quite deep into looking at things like past lives and your soul's journey, and also your future pathway as well. So really looking at life purpose as well as everything else. So today, what I want to talk about, first of all, I want to talk about this wonderful full moon energy that we've got at the moment. We're full moon in Scorpio, which is a wonderful, watery, deep, spiritual sign to be working in. And it's all about really digging deep into our subconscious. It's a very, very mysterious energy, Scorpio. So we are looking at, deep things within our subconscious, deep patterns within our subconscious. And it's also about transformation. So if you're going to use this full moon energy, you can transform pretty much every area of your life. And we're talking about major transformation. And what I've noticed here from my readings over the last few days, and also from myself as I pick up on the energy, it is all about, major blocks and major issues being brought to the fore here to be cleansed and cleared. And it is a time as well of great clearing, because this year is going to be a really, really big year. So it's a great time for transformation. So why not make use of that energy, and how to do that? So we're in, at the moment right now, the full moon energy. So what you can do is literally just do a little bit of meditation in intention and goal setting here. So get yourself into a nice, relaxed frame of mind. And if you're going to use any kind of colours around this in terms of candles, I'll go for red, or perhaps violet as well for the Scorpio energy. Or you can, of course, use just plain white if that's all that you've got. And all you have to do is just put those intentions forward. So think about, what is it that you most want transformation in within your life? Maybe it's on the psychic front. Maybe you want that psychic or spiritual transformation. Maybe you want to maybe you want to start all over again. Maybe you're planning a complete life change. This will be a great time to use that full moon energy. So my topic, now I've covered that, is psychic attack or energetic attack. This is something that affects pretty much everybody, and I'm going to go into two forms of psychic attack and how that can affect you. So number one, and we'll get this one out of the way, is like a spiritual form of psychic attack. So this is where, if you're like a nasty over on the astral plane, decides to have a pop at you. Now the other form of psychic attack, or energetic attack, I want to call it, is more on the human level. So this comes from another human being. And generally what it is somebody that has some sort of gripe with you and is sending you negative energy. And that can affect us on a very, very deep level. So we are looking at perhaps somebody that you work with, maybe even a family member, somebody that's around you that obviously has some sort of gripe with you and is projecting, whether consciously or not, all that negative energy. And what that will do, that will actually affect you. So we'll have a look at that. And in the more modern day and age, and this is something that I've noticed quite heavily actually, is the whole online aspect, so you can actually receive a psychic attack from somebody online. And, if we bring to, your attention things like cyberbullying, that is like a group psychic attack on one individual. And let's talk a little bit about how that might affect you. Maybe this is something that you can relate to. So generally, if you have or you're suffering from a psychic attack, there's going to be various symptoms that you're going to go through. So let's talk about a few of them. So we have a feeling of, number one, your energy going, your energy draining. Okay, so feeling incredibly fatigued and lethargic. Secondly, you can suffer from physical pain that can be right throughout the body, or more commonly headaches, nightmares, disturbed sleep, not being able to sleep, depression as well. And also sensing and feeling that negative energy. We're all intuitive beings, so we can pick up, pretty much what anybody is kind of projecting out there, whether it's to us directly or just, within their auric space, as it were. So we'll be able to sense and feel if somebody is being particularly negative towards us. Now that I've covered that aspect, what can you do about it? Okay, that if you're suffering from something like that, or that there's somebody particularly negative around you, or maybe you feel like somebody has cast a negative intention against you, maybe even with spell work, because that is is something that, yes, we hear about that, and it's read about in terms of years and years gone by. But it is still very prevalent today, where people will literally, cast a negative spell towards you. So let's have a look and see how to combat that negative energy. Now, first and foremost, ideally, if you can identify the person that has actually cast that negative intention out to you, you're on a winner here. And quite often, I actually feel like it's a good thing when that person actually shows themselves up to be what they truly are, because at least you know who you are dealing with. So number one, we've got to learn a little bit on psychic self-defense. So this is about sort of cleansing the aura, so using sage, using a salt bath. Also, what you can do is actually pull in your spiritual guides as well, and ask for that protection to be put around you, and visualize a field of protection around you. And it has to be a really strong field. So make that, if you like, that barrier around your aura as strong, or visually in your mind as strong as possible. Now, you can ask your spiritual guides to give you some assistance there, and they will do that. And more commonly, people will call upon Archangel Michael to create that field of protection here. You do need to be cutting cords with people like that. So if you can distance yourself from that person, all the better. But that doesn't always work. Like I said, nowadays we have the whole online problem as well. So if you're wanting to cut cords with somebody, this again can be done through meditation, and it can be done through visualization, where you literally see that cord of attachment from you to them being severed and being sent back to them. And obviously then again, protecting your aura as well. Now, you can use some crystals as well to create, if you like, a further barrier or a further field of protection. And there are many that you can choose from. But I'm just going to talk about maybe 3 or 4 crystals that you can go for just quickly. If you just need them on your person, you don't need to necessarily do anything special with them. So number 1 will be something like black tourmaline. That's great for creating that barrier and sending that negative energy back out to wherever it's coming from. You can also use smoky quartz. That's great also for clearing that negative energy as well. As once it's entered our auric space, we then have to get rid of it. Similarly, you can actually use obsidian, black obsidian, and another one that I do like using, which is bronzite, which is a beautiful brown stone, and that creates again a really, really strong field of protection. Now, today I am going to take 2 callers, and we just have our first caller here. So we have Oslam from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada is there. Hi, Oslam.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming through today. Is there anything in particular you would like me to look at for you today?
Yes. There's a cat that I was interested in you to do a reading between me and a cat.
On a cat?
Yes.
Okay. So what would you like to know about this cat?
I would like to know if we would ever reunite, and let me know if you need any more background information.
Well, let's just see what I get here. So has the cat gone missing then?
No.
Right, okay. Right, let's have a look. So you want to know whether you'll reunite with your cat, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, let me have a look here. So what I'm kind of getting around this particular situation is I feel like this cat is going to find their way back to you in some way, shape or form. It's quite interesting really, because I feel here that you're very bonded with this cat. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And quite often, we talk about soul connections and things like that, and we can have that with the animal kingdom as well, within our pets. And I feel like this is what you have here. But it seems like I don't know, it's almost like it's like they are, have they been taken here, or somebody else got this cat? Because I feel here that it's almost like blocked. The energy here around this is blocked, but I feel here, I don't know, it's almost like you've got this intuitive kind of connection here with this cat. But I feel that they will find their way back to you in one way, shape or form, because I do feel here that you are supposed to, have that bond and keep that bond going. And there's also the element like I get a distance here between the two of you, but I just feel that they are going to find their way back to you. I want to have a look at the timing around this as well. Right, okay. Let me have a look. Right, so I'm being drawn towards, I think it may take a little bit of time here. A little bit of time. So, because I'm being drawn more to, around the autumn months here, that I feel like I've got this cat returning to you. But it is going to be quite a happy reunion, a very, very happy reunion, and a sense of, how can I put it, a couple of old friends getting back together. That's what it feels like here. So I don't feel like this cat has gone from your life completely.
Okay.
And I feel like this soul connection, because it's so strong between the two of you, it's almost like it's going to act like some sort of radar here to bring that cat back to you. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to ask?
Sure. I also would like to know if you can tell if I would get a career here in Vancouver, because I just moved here.
Okay, so I'm just going to shuffle the cards again, because we're looking at a completely different subject. So what I get here with this is it's quite a big year for you, because I feel like, how can I put it? I've got you doing something that you are choosing to do. And I get a lot of learning behind this. So this is something that I feel it's like a great opportunity or a great gift, because it's almost like you can kind of create the career that you want to. Okay, so it's not just a case of going out and finding a job just for to pay the bills. This is also finding something and stepping into something, even if it is, working from the ground upwards, that you really find fulfilling and enjoyable. So this is it's a great step forward here that I've got for you, along with your relocation. This is almost like part and parcel of the new life that you've been trying to create. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
And I want to say here, I'm just looking at this, because what I'm being shown here is to follow your intuition with this, because I feel like I've got like 2 roads or 2 avenues or two jobs or careers that you can possibly go into, but it's like you haven't quite decided which one that you kind of you feel most drawn towards. However, what I'm being shown with this is that pathway, your future pathway, is going to be made abundantly clear to you. Okay, so there's not a case at all of going wrong or making the wrong decision, because I feel here that you are going to be maneuvered, if you like, by the universe straight into that job. Does that make sense? Into the right one. But I feel this is something to do with, having that strong element of intuition, which I feel that you do have, and also the element of communication is going to be very, very important within your new career as well.
Okay. Yeah, it all makes sense.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming through, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much for the reading.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
And off she goes. And we have our next caller. Her name is Tammy, and she's from Palace Hills in Illinois. Hi, Tammy. You there?
Yes, I am. Hello. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Right. So you've come through to me. What would you like me to have a look at for you?
I'm wondering about a settlement I'm supposed to be receiving. I'm not sure exactly when it's supposed to be coming, and I don't know how much it's going to be. I'm just wondering, is it going to come soon, and is it going to be enough to start the life that I want to start?
Can you repeat that last bit? So is it going to come soon, and what was the second bit?
Is it going to be enough? Is it going to be enough to start the kind of life that I want to start?
Right,
will I be financially stable?
Yeah, okay, let's have a look and see what I get here with this. I'm just going to pull a few cards out for you. Right, okay, so as I tune into this settlement, I kind of feel that this has been quite a tough and an emotional journey for you already. I feel like it's like I'm not entirely comfortable with the energy of the people that you're dealing with, or you've had to deal with around this settlement. So I'm looking at the other party, because I feel here there is an element of dishonesty around them. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Yeah. So I feel here it's almost like fear not. I'm being told to fear not, because I feel like their dishonesty and character and lack of integrity is going to be highlighted or exposed in some way. Okay. And that, I feel, is going to be giving you quite a swift resolution around this. I feel here we've got a lot of positive energy. This is really good. This is really good news. So even though you've got these underlying elements that are not so positive, behind the scenes, as it were, almost like sneaky behaviour. That's what I want to call it. I actually feel your outcome is going to be incredibly positive because it puts you back on track. I feel that you're going to get an answer to this fairly imminently. Okay, I don't feel like this is going to drag out for a huge length of time, and it feels like it's already been quite a long time that you've been going through this process. Let me just pull out a couple of cards. I've got you moving forward and I've got abundance around you. So in terms of your question, I feel here the outcome that we've got, and it's all coming up very, very imminently, which is what I love. So I want to say within the next within the next 3 months, I've got this being resolved, okay, and a conclusion to it, and you starting that new cycle that you want, okay, that you need, because it feels like there's an element of the whole situation in terms of what this settlement is based around as being very unfair. Does that make sense? The nature of it feels really, really unfair. And what I get here is that balance being put back into the situation. And it's almost like I get you being able to close the door on a really painful time in your life. Does that make sense to you? I get a lot of... Yeah, I get so much emotion around it, and you just want to close the door on it. You just want to forget about it. You just want to move on, but you can't until this is all resolved. But also, you need, on the emotional level, you need that element of fairness put back into it. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I feel that I feel like, yes, this is like, it feels like it's a hard journey to do and to go through. And I feel here, there have been times where you've been really contemplating, whether just to walk away from it. And I don't feel like you should walk away from it, because I feel that despite the fact, there's a lot of pressure around this, because I feel... you're anxious and you're worried that they're going to get away with this. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
but I don't feel that they will, which is why it's really important for you just to continue on this journey for a little bit longer now. Because what I get with this also is that once it starts moving, because I feel here it's like it's stuck at the moment and there's a lack of activity around it. But I feel like when it starts to get moving, which I feel is, I'm being told here, within 4 weeks, then all of a sudden everything happens very, very quickly. Okay, so I get the sense of momentum and speed and everything else coming through, okay, for you. So it's almost like wait for the wheels to turn on this one. And then I feel like everything is plain sailing or moving along at quite a rate. Then I get you having that transformation that you absolutely need, and is deserved here. So it does give you the opportunity to start all over again, and build the life that you want. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's more than I want.
Yeah. So what I feel is that, it's almost like now take the shift in the attention of, it might go wrong. Don't even think that, because I feel like your attention now needs to go over to what you're going to be doing with this new life of yours. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just step forward a little bit in time in your mind and think, right, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to blah, 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 and get all of that all planned already. So it's sending out a very, very powerful message that this is what you're going to be doing with that positive outcome.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
And I also want to say here, when you're over this, when you're through this, you never have to go through this experience again. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Oh, that's so great to hear. It's like a weight lifted off of my shoulders.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad, and you deserve it, I'm being told. So thank you very much for coming through, and I'm going to leave it there, and wish you love and light. So bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the reading. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. And off she goes. And I can't believe it. You know, this is the end of my show now. So I do hope you've enjoyed it. And, you know, if it's something that you want to talk about a little bit more, psychic attack, maybe, you know, you feel like you've had some real issues, you know, that you would like that further guidance in, you can get hold of me on my website, which is modern-mystic.co.uk, or you can catch me on Psychic Today over in the UK, and I'm also on Facebook as well, so you can look me up on Modern Mystic, or of course Modern Mystic Saira. Okay, so I'm now going to wish you all great full moon energy. I hope you make the absolute most of it, and I can wish you a wonderful week ahead, and say goodbye for now. So love and light to you all. Bye bye.